Good day, everyone. Welcome to our discussion today. Still, our topic is about conics, specifically parabola. If you are ready, then let us now begin. At the end of our lesson, you shall have defined a parabola, given real-life examples of a parabola, determined the standard form of the equation of a parabola, and solved problems involving parabolas. So dito natin paiikutin ang ating lesson ngayong araw na to. Maybe some of you might ask, what is a parabola? Ito ba ay hugis bola dahil para bola? Well, let's find out. When we say parabola, parabola is a set of all points that are equidistant from a fixed line and a fixed point not on the fixed line. The fixed line is called the directrix D of the parabola, and the fixed point is called the focus F. If you notice, meron tayong two important terms na ginamit, the directrix and the focus. Yung directrix is the fixed line, while the focus is the fixed point. So, for you to understand this better, let us have the line and the point. If you notice, there's a given line here, and then merong given point na nasa taas ng line, at meron din namang given point na nasa baba ng line. And then aside from this, there's a given point na nasa kanan ng line at given point na nasa kaliwa ng line. So, ito yung possible na parabola na makikreate natin later on. Kung paano, tingnan natin mamaya. The line perpendicular to the directrix and passing through the focus is called the axis of symmetry, AS. The parabola is said to be symmetric with respect to this line. When you say symmetric, ito yung having corresponding points whose connecting lines are bisected by a given point. Ibig sabihin, yung axis of symmetry, siya yung maghahati sa parabola. Nasaan yung axis of symmetry? Ito, yung kulay pula. At sabi natin, pwede natin itong i-denote as AS. Okay? With the given directrix and the focus, we added this line called axis of symmetry. Aside from these three, we have this what you call vertex V. The vertex V is halfway between the focus and the directrix. It is the point where the curve changes direction. Saan naman makikita itong vertex? Yun. Okay? Yung point na kulay dilaw and of course denoted na V. Ibig sabihin, vertex. Since the vertex is halfway between the focus and the directrix, we can say therefore that the distance of a vertex to a focus, ito, okay, is equivalent to the distance of a vertex to a directrix. So, ibig sabihin, congruent yung dalawa. Yung distance of a vertex to a focus is the same or equivalent to the distance of a vertex to a directrix. The chord that passes through the focus and perpendicular to the axis of symmetry is called the Lattice Rectum, LR. Nasaan naman ito ang tinatawag nating Lattice Rectum? Yon, yung kulay blue, denoted by LR. And if you notice, this chord LR passes through the focus. Diba? Napansin nyo? And perpendicular to the axis of symmetry. In this case, ang ating axis of symmetry ay itong kulay pula, which of course perpendicular sila. Meron silang right angle. Okay? So nakakreate tayo ng right angle. Kaya nga sila ay perpendicular. So yung lattice rectum is perpendicular to the axis of symmetry. And of course, this lattice rectum will pass through the given point focus. The vertex and the endpoints of the lattice rectum of the parabola are used in sketching the parabola. From the vertex, create tayo ng parabola na dapat nag-pass through dun sa endpoints niya ng lattice rectum. This one, this parabola opens upward, while the other parabola opens to the right. Next parabola opens to the left. And our last parabola opens what? Downward. Ibig sabihin, meron pala tayong apat na opening. Upward, to the right, to the left, and downward. And aside from this, kung mapapansin nyo, ang focus point natin ay nasa loob ng parabola. So these are the focus points. Yan. Dapat nasa loob ng parabola. Okay? A parabola is said to be in standard position if its vertex is at the origin, 0, 0, and its principal axis is one of the coordinate axes. If you notice, meron tayong two axes here, the x-axis and the y-axis. Siyempre pa yung horizontal ang x-axis and yung vertical line ang y-axis. And then, if you notice too, yung vertex is located dun sa intersection of the two axes. Sabi nga natin, its vertex should be at the origin for us to have a standard position of a parabola. In this case, ang una na nasa kaliwang bahagi ay parabola that opens what? Upward. Kagaya na ginawa natin kanina, yung endpoints ng lattice rectum syempre ay connected doon sa ating parabola. Our next parabola opens what? Downward. And same with parabola that opens to the right, like this. And lastly, parabola that opens to the left. Again, it is in standard position if its vertex is at the origin. Kagaya nito ating samples, ito yung vertex located at the origin. So, this is it. This time, we will solve equations. After solving it, we will draw its graph following the characteristics given. The equation of a parabola with vertex 0, 0, focus 0p, directrix y equals negative p, and axis of symmetry, the y-axis, can be written as x squared equals 4py, or y equals 1 over 4p x squared. Take note, if p is greater than 0, parabola opens upward, but if p is less than 0, parabola opens downward. And to get the ends of lattice rectum, the coordinates are plus minus 2p, p. Example, x squared equals 8y. Our pattern is x squared equals 4y. And the given equation is x squared equals 8y. Therefore, 4p here is equal to 8, if you notice. Tama ba? And to solve for p, divide your equation by 4. P therefore is equivalent to 2. So ito ngayon ang gagamitin nating value for P. And using the characteristics given, the vertex, of course, of this parabola is 0, 0. Meaning to say, tayo ay nasa standard position. Then given focus, 0p, so that is 0 and then 2. Dahil ang pinga natin kanina ay 2. And for the directrix, y equals negative p. Ibig sabihin, y equals negative 2. And the axis of symmetry is the y-axis. So y-axis. Okay. And our ends of lattice rectum are what? Plus minus 2p. So 2 times 2, since the value of p is 2. So we have here plus minus 4 and then p 2. So these are the ends of the lattice rectum. Now, i-draw natin yung graph. At first, gawa ka ng Cartesian plane. The x-axis and the y-axis. So ito ngayon yung ating Cartesian plane. Sabi dito, the vertex is located at the origin. So, dun sa intersection of the two axes. Ito ngayon yung ating vertex, yung point na nasa origin. And then focus is located at point 02, ay the From the origin, taas tayo ng isa, dalawa. So this point will serve as our focus. The directrix is y equals negative 2. So the value of y equals, nakikita natin yung negative 2 ay dun sa baba ng y-axis, tama? So we have here 1, 2. Ito. So ito ngayon, okay, ito ngayon ang ating magiging directrix. So this line will be your directrix. Okay? Axis of symmetry, y-axis. So itong kahabaan na to ng y-axis. So ito yung ating axis of symmetry. And the ends of the lattice rectum plus minus 4, 2. From the origin, move tayo ng 1, 2, 3, 4 units. Assuming na ito ay equidistant, then taas tayo ng dalawa to get positive 4, 2. And sa kaliwa, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Then taas ng dalawa to get negative 4, 2. Connecting these points, passing through the focus, so lumalabas, ito yung ating lattice rectum. And then from the vertex, gawa tayo ng curve, smooth curve. Okay. Sa kabila, smooth curve. At meron na tayo ngayong graph of the parabola. Namit natin yung opens upward. Sabi nga natin, 2 is greater than 0, kaya dapat ang parabola opens upward. So, eto ngayon ang sagot dito sa ating example number 1. Example number 2. Given equation, x squared equals negative 4y. Ibig sabihin, 4p is equal to negative 4. And to look for p, divide the equation by 4. P is equal to what? Negative 1. Since negative 1 is less than 0, our parabola opens what? Downward. Our vertex, 0, 0. Focus, 0, negative 1. Since the value of P is negative 1. Directrix, y equals negative, negative 1. Meaning, negative, negative will become what? Positive. So, directrix now is y equals 1. Axis of symmetry, still y-axis. And then, the ends of the lattice rectum, plus minus 2p. 2 times 1 is 2. And then our p is negative 1. So plus minus 2, negative 1. Now, i-draw natin yung graph. So Cartesian plane, okay, the axis, the x and y axis. So we have the vertex at the origin. And then focus 0, negative 1. So baba tayo ng 1 unit. So this will serve as our focus. Okay. Directrix y equals positive 1. Taas tayo ng isang unit. Okay. At syempre pa, this line will serve as our directrix. And then axis of symmetry, the y-axis. So ito ngayon ang ating axis of symmetry. Still, yung kahabaan ng y-axis, axis of symmetry. And the ends of lattice rectum, plus minus 2, negative 1. So, to get positive 2, negative 1, from the origin, we have 1, 2 to the right. And then, baba tayo ng isa to get 2, negative 1. And then, from the origin, kaliwa tayo ng isa, dalawang units. Baba ng isa to get negative 2, negative 1. Connect the points passing through the focus para yun ang ating magiging lattice rectum. And then from the vertex to the end points of our lattice rectum, yan, meron na tayong parabola. Okay? Ayos. Now, let us have another pattern. The equation of a parabola with vertex 0, 0. focus P0, directrix x equals negative b, and axis of symmetry, the x-axis, can be written as y squared equals 4px or y equals 1 over 4p y squared. Note, if p is greater than 0, parabola opens to the right. If p is less than 0, parabola opens to the left. The ends of Lattice Rectum coordinates are what? P, then plus minus 2p. Example, y squared equals 12x, meaning the value of p in this equation is what? 12 equals 4p. So divide your equation by 4, 3 is equal to p. Ibig sabihin, ang value ng p natin ay 3. Again, from the characteristics given, vertex 0, 0. Okay? Focus, what's the focus? P0. So we have 3, 0. And then directrix, x equals negative p. So we have here x equals negative 3. Axis of symmetry. What is the axis of symmetry? X axis. And then the ends of Lattice Rectum. The ends of Lattice Rectum, we have 3. And then plus minus 2p, so 6. So it's plus 3 plus minus 6. Draw ang graph. Cartesian plane ulit. Gawa tayo. Vertex at the origin. So ibig sabihin, ito. Vertex at the origin. Focus is at 3, 0. So from the origin, bilang tayo ng 1, 2, 3 units. So this will serve as our focus point. Ito dito. Okay? Directrix, x equals negative 3. So from the origin, atras tayo ng 1, 2, 3. And this line will serve as our what? Directrix. So D. Okay? Axis of symmetry is the x-axis. Ito, kahabaan ng x-axis. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung ating axis of symmetry. And the ends of Lattice Rectum, 3 plus minus 6. Meaning, ang kanan tayo ng 3, and then taas tayo ng 6. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, ito, 0.36. And then, baba tayo ng 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, negative 6. So, here it is. Connect the points. Passing through the focus. So, ito ngayon yung ating Lattice Rectum. And then, from the vertex, connect natin. And then, sa kabila, connect natin. So, ang ating parabola opens to the right. Bakit? P is equal to 3 and 3 is greater than 0. So, eto na yan. Another example, y squared equals negative 4x. Meaning, 4p equals negative 4. Divide your equation by 4. P is equal to negative 1. Since negative 1 is less than 0, the parabola opens to the left. So mamaya, dapat ang makikita nating drawing ng parabola ay left ang opening. Now, what is the vertex? The vertex will be at point 0, 0, o yung origin. And then focus, P0. So we have negative 1, 0. And then directrix x equals negative p. So x equals negative, negative 1. Meaning positive. X equals 1. The axis of symmetry is the x-axis. So x-axis. And the ends of Lattice Rectum coordinates, what are the coordinates? We have P, so negative 1, and then plus minus 2P, so 2 times 1 is 2. So it's negative 1 plus minus 2. Now, let us draw the graph. Cartesian plane, x-axis, y-axis. By the way, children, kung maaari gumamit tayo ng ruler and graphing paper para hindi kayo mahirapan. Okay? Now, let us continue. Vertex located at the origin. So, ito siya. Yung point na nasa intersection ng two axes. And then, focus is at negative 1, 0. Ang focus natin is at negative 1, 0. So, from the origin, kakaliwa tayo ng isa. So, this will serve as our focus, yung point na naandito. Okay? And then, directrix, x equals positive 1. So, from the origin, kanan tayo ng isa. At syempre pa, ito yung magsisilbi nating directrix, itong line na to. So, nag-move tayo 1 unit to the right from the origin. So, ito ngayon yung ating directrix. Okay? And then, the axis of symmetry, still, yung kahabaan ng ating x-axis. So, axis of symmetry. The ends of Lattice Rectum, negative 1, positive 2. So, taas tayo ng dalawa. Pero syempre pa, negative 1, kaliwa, then taas ng dalawa. Ito, dito sa point na to. And then, bababa tayo ng dalawa. So, kaliwa ng isa, baba ng dalawa. Here's another end. Okay? Connect the points passing through the focus. Ito ngayon yung ating Lattice Rectum. Okay? From the vertex, gawa tayo ng parabola. So, ito. From the vertex of parabola, then yan. So if you notice, ang opening natin ay to the left. At yun naman yung ating inaasahan dahil ang value ng P is negative 1, which of course less than 0. So eto ulit yung ating sagot dito sa ating example number 2. Now, let us have this example. The focus has coordinates 0, 3. In here, we are asked to write the equation of a parabola with vertex at the origin and draw its graph. So, applying the characteristics given, since the given is a focus having a coordinate of 0, 3, lumalabas na ang ating focus pattern ay 0, P. That the value of P here is 3. Okay? So P equals 3. And since focus pattern is 0P, we'll be using this table. Okay? Therefore, our equation is what? X squared equals 4py. Meaning, we have x squared equals what? 4 and then p y. What is 4 times 3? Of course, the answer is 12. So, our answer is what? X squared equals 12y. Now, to draw its graph, p is equal to 3 and 3 is greater than 0. Expected that the parabola opens upward. Our endpoints for the Lattice Rectum, the endpoints of the Lattice Rectum, plus minus 2p. So 2 times 3, we have 6 plus minus 6. Okay, so it's plus minus 6. And then P, so we have 3. So the coordinates of the ends of Lattice Rectum are plus minus 6, 3. Then the axis of symmetry, x equals h. Okay, x equals h. So, axis of symmetry, x equals h, meaning to say, ano ang axis of symmetry natin? Y-axis or x-axis? So, the x-axis is not, because the answer is the y-axis in this case. Okay, and then the equation for our directrix, y equals, so the directrix here is what? Y equals negative 3. So, i-draw natin yung graph. Cartesian plane. Okay. Vertex at the origin. And then focus. What's the focus? 0, 3. So, from the origin, taas tayo ng 1, 2, 3 units. So, lumalabas na ito ngayon yung ating focus. Okay? And then, from here, ano ang ating directrix? Our directrix, y equals negative 3. So, from the origin, baba tayo ng 1, 2, 3. At syempre pa, this line will serve as our directrix, y equals negative 3. The axis of symmetry is the y-axis, sabi natin kanina, ito. So, ito yung ating axis of symmetry. And then, the coordinates of the ends of lattice rectum, plus minus 6, 3. So, from the origin, kanan tayo ng 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. Taas ng 3 dito. And then, kaliwa tayo ng 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then, taas ulit ng 3. Connecting the points, dapat mag-pass through sa focus. Okay? Ito ngayon yung ating lattice rectum na sinasabi. So, this will be your lattice rectum. And then from the vertex, gawa tayo ng parabola. So, tapos na ulit tayo sa ating problem number 1. Example number 2. The equation of the directrix is y minus 4 equals 0. To answer this problem, at first, isolve muna natin itong y minus 4 equals 0. Transpose negative 4 on this side. So, y is equal to 0 plus 4 or simply 4. We have y equals 4 being what? The directrix. And since y is equal to 4, from our pattern, it's from y equals negative p. Okay? Meaning, if y is 4 and negative p is equal to 4, so negative p is equal to 4, divide the equation by negative 1, p therefore is negative 4. So this is our value for p, negative 4. So to get the equation, using this, x squared equals 4 times negative 4y, which of course equivalent to negative what? 16y. So negative 16y. So our equation is x squared equals negative 16y. Okay? Now, since p is negative 4 and negative 4 is less than 0, parabola opens downward. Okay? And the coordinates of the endpoints of a lattice rectum are what? The plus, minus. So we have the lattice rectum coordinates plus minus 2p. So it's plus minus 8. And then p is negative 4. So these are the coordinates of the endpoints of our Lattice Rectum. And then axis of symmetry still is y-axis. Okay? And then for the directrix, yun, y equals 4. So to draw the graph, the Cartesian plane, okay, vertex at the origin, and then focus will be at OP, or 0P, I mean. So 0, negative 4. So baba tayo, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this will be our focus, okay? So this point will serve as our focus. And then next we have Lattice Rectum endpoints, plus minus 8, negative 4. So kanan tayo ng 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then baba ng 4. So ito yung one of the endpoints. And then kaliwa ng 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then 4 down. Here's another point. And then, of course, connect the points passing through the focus. So this will be your Lattice Rectum. And then from the vertex, connect from here, connect. By the way, asa ng directrix, y equals 4. So taas tayo ng 1, 2, 3, 4. So this will be our directrix. Now, meron na ulit tayo sagot dito sa problem na ito. Example number 3. The length of the lattice rectum is 8 and the parabola opens downward. So ito yun. Meaning, the value of P is less than 0. Another given is the length of the lattice rectum. So happen that the length of a lattice rectum is equivalent to 4P. Therefore, 4P is equal to 8. To solve P, divide your equation by 4. P here is 2. Now, since the parabola opens downward, P therefore is negative 2. Okay? So P is negative 2. Why? Because the parabola opens downward. Now, to continue, to get its equation, use P being what? Negative 2. So x squared is equal to 4 times negative 2 times y. And that is x squared equals negative 8y. Okay? For the ends of lattice rectum, we have these coordinates plus minus 2p, so that is 4, and then p, negative 2. For the axis of symmetry, that is y-axis. And then for the directrix, it's y equals negative p. So negative is positive 2. Now, let us draw the graph. So let's make a Cartesian plane. Okay. And then vertex at the origin. What is our focus? 0P. So that is 0, negative 2. So baba tayo ng 2. This will be our focus point. Okay, 0, 2, 0, negative 2. And then, for the ends of lattice rectum, plus minus 4, negative 2. Kanan tayo ng 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then baba ng 2. Then kaliwa ng 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, baba ng 2. Connect the points, see to it na magpapass through ka dun sa focus. And this will be your lattice rectum. So from the vertex, gawa tayo ng smooth curve. And then smooth curve. So ito ngayon yung ating parabola. By the way, our directrix, y equals positive 2. So from the origin, taas tayo ng 1, 2. And this will be our directrix. Asa ng axis of symmetry? Of course, the y-axis being what? The axis of symmetry. At syempre pa, eto na ulit yung ating sagot sa problem number 3. Okay, this time, the graph of this parabola is not in its standard position kasi nag-transcend na yung vertex from the origin to a point HK. Pero syempre pa, meron tayong 2 patterns ulit na susundan based on their characteristics. So, let us try. Express each equation of the parabola in standard form. Then give the coordinates of the vertex, the focus, and the ends of the lattice rectum. Draw the parabola, its focus, and directrix. Given equation, y squared minus 4x plus 6y plus 17 is 0. Since your leading variable here is y squared, iiwan natin dito sa left-hand side yung may y. And then, etong remaining 2 terms will be transposed on the other side. So, ililipat sa kabilang side. Therefore, ang ating equation ngayon ay y squared plus 6y equals 4x minus 17. Okay? Now, make these 2 terms, y squared plus 6y, a perfect square trinomial. So, plus blank, okay, equal to 4x minus 17 plus blank. How can we get the last term of these 2 terms, y squared plus 6y? Well, simply divide the coefficient of y here by 2. Since 6 divided by 2 is 3, so write 3. And then, positive, of course. The square root of y squared is y, so you have y plus 3, and then squared, 3 squared is 9, so you need to add 9 here. On the other side, mag-a-add ka rin ng 9. So, y squared plus 6y plus 9 is a perfect square trinomial whose factors are y plus 3 quantity squared. If you continue solving, 4x minus 17 plus 9 is now equal to 4x minus 8. And if you notice, 4x minus 8 has common factor 4. So factor it out and then get the remaining factor. 4x divided by 4 is x, and negative 8 divided by 4 is negative 2. And then copy the left-hand side, y plus 3 quantity squared. And if you notice, eto na siya. Y minus k quantity squared equals 4p times the quantity x minus h. Okay? Now, solve for p. Kagaya ng ginawa natin kanina. In this case, 4p is equal to 4. Divide your equation by 4. P here is 1. Okay? Now, look for h and k. So, our pattern is y minus k. But in here, we have y plus 3. Meaning, the value of our k is negative 3. So, our k value is negative 3. And then our h value, x minus h, so x minus 2, of course, our h is positive 2. So these are the values of h and K. So meron na tayong tatlong values, P, H, and K. Since P is equal to 1 and 1 is greater than 0, our parabola opens what? To the right. Okay? So what are the ends of lattice rectum? Ay the H plus P. So we have H plus P. We have, so what are the ends of lattice rectum? So lagyan natin. Ang first coordinate ay H plus P. So 2 plus 1. So that is 3. And then K plus minus 2P. So it's K plus minus 2P. So K is negative 3. And then plus 2P plus 2. So negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. So that is 3 negative 1. And the other endpoint is 3. Then K minus 2P. So negative 3 minus 2 is negative 5. So this is our another endpoint of the lattice rectum. Okay, our axis of symmetry. What is our axis of symmetry? Y equals K, so Y equals negative 3. It's not the axis anymore. Kasi sabi nga natin, nag-translate na tayo from the origin to a point, HK. And for the directrix, we have X equals H minus P. So what is H? 2. And then minus P, 2 minus 1 is 1. So our directrix X equals 1. Okay, so now let us plot and draw the graph. So tingnan natin, Cartesian plane. Okay, Cartesian plane. Our vertex, what is our vertex? HK. So HK, it's 2, negative 3. So we have here 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3. So this will be your vertex 2, negative 3. And then focus, what's the focus? Sabi natin ang focus ay H plus P. H plus P, so that is 3. And then K, 3, negative 3. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then negative 3. So this will be our focus. Okay, next we have lattice rectum ends 3, negative 1. 3, negative 1. Here is our end. And 3, negative what? It's the other. 3, negative 5. So 3, 4, 5. So that is 3, 3, negative 1, and 3, negative 5. So connect the points. This will be our lattice rectum. And then from the vertex, draw tayo ng smooth curve. Smooth curve. Okay. And the directrix, X equals 1. So this will be your directrix. Axis of symmetry, Y equals negative 3. So this will be your axis of symmetry. Okay, so this is our axis of symmetry. And this is our directrix. So this is our graph on this equation, y squared minus 4x plus 6y plus 17 equals 0. Example number 2, 2x squared minus 32x minus y plus 17. This time, we will transpose negative y on this side, so as positive 127. It is now 2x squared minus 32x equals y minus 127. Okay? So if you notice, 2 and 32 has common factor, that is 2. Okay? Then copy or get the remaining factor, that is x squared minus 16x. Tama? Y, 2x squared divided by 2 is x squared, and then 32x divided by 2 is 16x, equals y minus 127. Make these two terms a perfect square trinomial. So that is 2 times x squared minus 16x plus blank equals y minus 127. Again, divide the coefficient of x by 2 for you to get 8. So copy, minus, the square root of x squared is x. So that is x minus 8 quantity squared. So 8 squared is 64. So write 64 here. On the other side, plus 64. No, it's not, because you have this leading coefficient 2. So 2 times 64, it is 128. So dapat i-multiply mo yung 2 doon sa 64. So copy 2 and then continue solving. It's now y plus 1. Okay, y plus 1. Copy y. Then negative 127 plus 128 is 1. Okay? To remove this coefficient 2, so divide the equation by 2 or multiply the equation by 1/2. Meaning, our equation then is x minus 8 quantity squared equals 1/2 of the quantity y plus 1. So, asa na tayo ngayon? We are now on this pattern. What is our h? Ang h natin is 8. What is our k? Ang k natin, since we have y plus 1 here, k is negative 1. And then what is our p value? Ano kaya ang p value natin? So our 4p is 1/2. 4p is 1/2. To solve, we can multiply this equation by 1/4. So as the other side, I need to cancel 4. So p therefore is 1/8. So our p is 1/8. So yan. Meron na tayong h, k, and p. Okay, isa-isahin na ulit natin. Our vertex, ano ang ating vertex? Dito na natin ilagay sa taas. Our vertex is hk, so 8, negative 1. Then our focus, what's the focus? The focus is h, 8, and then k plus p. So negative 1 plus 1/8. So what is negative 1 plus 1/8? That is negative 7/8. Okay? So negative 1 plus 1/8 is negative 7/8. And then our lattice rectum ends. What's the end of the lattice rectum? At first we have h plus 2p. H plus 2p. So we have 8 plus 2p. 2 times 1/8 is 1/4. So 8 and 1/4. Ano? 8 and 1/4. Then k plus p. What is k plus p? Negative 1 plus 1/8 is negative 7/8. So this is our first coordinate. And the next coordinate is h minus 2p. So that is 8 minus 1/4. It's 7 3/4. Okay, so we have 7 3/4, and then negative 7/8. Okay, so these are the ends of the lattice rectum. And then axis of symmetry, the axis of symmetry, x equals h, meaning our axis of symmetry x equals 8. And then the directrix, we have y equals k minus p. So negative 1 minus 1/8 is negative 1 1/8. So now let us draw the graph of this. So draw a Cartesian plane. Vertex 8, negative 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The negative 1, here it is. So this is our vertex, and the focus is 8 and negative 7/8. So the focus is 8, negative 7/8. 7 divided by 8 approximately is 0.87, 0.8 something, or so that is closer to our vertex. Andito siya. Ano? Okay, so yun, andun. Before your vertex, that is 0.8 approximately. And then the ends of lattice rectum, 8 1/4, so that is 8.25. So closer than negative 7/8, while the other is 7 3/4, so it's 7.75, so 0.25 away from the focus, or from the focus. Okay, so if we are going to connect this, eto siya, ang liit-liit ng graph, and then connecting this will be your parabola. And for the axis of symmetry, x equals 8, so here it is, our axis of symmetry. And then the directrix, y equals negative 1 1/8, so closer to negative 1, so this will be your directrix. And here, and this is our graph on this problem. Gets? And for our last example, write the equation of the parabola in general form that satisfies the given conditions. Draw the parabola, its focus and directrix. Given the vertex is at 3, 2 and the focus is at 4, 2. Well, if you are going to draw the graph of this given, so gawa tayo ng Cartesian plane. The vertex is at 3, 2. So we can move 1, 2, 3 to the right, and then 1, 2 units up. So this will be our vertex. Tama? And then the focus is at 4, 2. So moving 4 to the right and 2 units up. So this will be the focus. Meaning to say, connecting these two, by the way, the vertex and the focus, sabi natin, ang focus palaging nasa loob ng parabola. In short, ang opening natin dito ay to the right. Tama? And since the opening is to the right, eto siya, to the right. Ibig sabihin, we will be using this pattern. Eto, itong equation na to. Okay? So, now, let us continue. The vertex is at 3, 2. So our h is, what is our h? The h is 3 and our k is 2 because the vertex is at 3, 2. So h is 3, k is 2. The focus is at 4, 2. Our focus came from the coordinate h plus p, k. If h plus p is 4, and h is 3, so 3 plus p is 4, meaning the value of p here is 1. So our P is 1. We have now the H, the K, and the P. Using the pattern y minus k, we have y minus 2 quantity squared equals 4p, 4 times 1, and then x minus h, x minus 3. Expand y minus 2, it is y squared minus 4y plus 4. Tama? Equals 4 times x is 4x, while 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. And then transpose 4x and negative 12, it is now y squared minus 4y plus 4 minus 4x plus 12 equals 0. Combine similar terms, you have y squared minus 4y minus 4x plus 16 equals 0. And this is our answer dun sa equation na hinahanap. Okay? For the other parts, let us continue solving. Sabi natin h is 3, k is 2, and p is 1. We already have this vertex and focus. Ano na lang ang ating kukunin? Ends of Lattice Rectum. So for the Lattice Rectum, we have h plus p. Kasi di ba sabi natin itong column na to ang ating susundin. Lattice Rectum h plus p, so that is 3 plus 1, 4. 4. And then k plus 2p. K is 2. And 2 times 1 is 2. So k plus 2p, that is 4. 4, 4. And what? 4k minus 2. So 4, 4, and 4, 0. So these are the ends of the Lattice Rectum. And for the axis of symmetry, that is y equals k, so y equals 2. And for the directrix, it is x equals h minus p. So what is h minus p? 3 minus 1. So the answer is 2. Now, i-plot natin sa Cartesian plane para sa graph. So draw a Cartesian plane. Okay. The vertex is at 3, 2. Lakihin natin 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2. So ito yung point. Ito yung ating vertex. And then the focus is at 4, 2. So ito yung 4, then 2. Here is our focus point. Okay? Now, sabi natin, the Lattice Rectum ends or the ends of Lattice Rectum 4, 4. We have here 3, 4. Here is 4, 4. And then the other is at 4, 0. So here is 4, 0. Connecting the points passing through a focus. So this will be our Lattice Rectum. And then from the vertex, draw the graph smoothly. Okay. And then the axis of symmetry, y equals 2. Here it is. Y equals 2. Yun. So this will be our axis of symmetry. And for the directrix, x equals 2. Here is our directrix. X equals 2 is the directrix. So, eto na siya. Okay, so thank you for now. Hanggang dito lang muna ang ating discussion today. Kung gusto nyong mapanood ang ating lesson at iba pang lessons, you can browse on my YouTube channel para nang sa ganun, magi kayo updated sa lahat ng aking i-upload na videos. Once again, thank you for listening. Good day.